What's going on, guys? It's Kyle here, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about movies, and guess what? Movies. So today I'm bringing you guys a new video, and today's video is going to be my spoiler talk for Avengers Endgame. I know Endgame is pretty much gone on everyone's radar now. You know, it's been like a few weeks now. Who cares about Endgame? Hey man, I was late. Get over it. So first thing we're going to talk about are the characters. Of course, number one, Iron Man. He dies. Let's get it out of the way. He dies in the end. If you haven't seen it, I mean, you wouldn't have known. But it's such a great way that he dies because he sacrifices his life for everyone else's. I love how all these characters just like evolved over this entire saga. You know, Iron Man has gotten more selfless. Captain America got more mature, and you know he doesn't care as much about the swearing as he did in Ultron. Thought that was pretty funny. You know, he actually swore a couple times himself. Scarlett Johansson, what's her name? Black Widow. She died in this as well, which that threw me off because I know we're supposed to get like a whole solo movie dedicated towards her. What's that going to be? It's probably going to be like a prequel now. The Hulk, Bruce Banner, he became Professor Hulk in this movie, and I thought he did a really good job. I thought the CGI looked great for him, actually. He kind of reminded me of Shrek a little bit. I don't know, just because of the way he talked and the way he acted. It was just, yeah, gave me some Shrek vibes. Thor, unpopular opinion about Thor, I thought they did him dirty, man. I didn't appreciate him making him fat. That made me mad, but they did kind of some funny, clever things with it. But they also toyed with depression, which was not a good thing to toy with, especially with this day and age, people, how they get offended by pretty much everything. Thanos, he's hardly in the movie, but when he is, you know, of course, he always steals the show. Rocket is barely in it too, honestly. There's a few characters in this that aren't really that in it that much. They don't have much to do with, oh, of course, Hawkeye, or, you know, Ronin now, as he's called, isn't it? You know, he played a pretty big role, because, I mean, he starts the movie off, you know, with his parents dying, with his family dying, like, that's a big deal. And, Ant-Man's in it, you know, Paul Rudd, Scott Lang. That was hilarious how, a little squirrel or something like that. Was it a squirrel or a cat? It was a cat or a squirrel. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a few weeks since I saw the movie, but it was like a squirrel or some kind of small animal that ran across the van and turned on the quantum thing, and it opened up the quantum realm, and he popped out. Like, I just thought that was hilarious. People have a theory that was actually Loki that did it or something like that. It's just crazy how Doctor Strange had to think of that, like, he had to think of the exact moment, or like everything had to be exactly coordinated for everything to go right, because he said he found like over 4 billion possibilities or something like that, and you know, this one possibility that they come out with the outcome, you know, all these little things have to go completely right. I thought that was hilarious. Let's talk about the plot a little bit. Obviously, the plot was very kept under wraps for most of the production and most of the advertisements. I mean, I'm pretty sure every trailer or thing we saw from the marketing was like only 15 or 20 minutes, like, out of the entire movie. The movie's like 3 hours long, so I thought that was a great part. I thought that was a great job on their part, but then again, there's a lot more to spoil then, because, you know, I actually did get a few things spoiled to me. Firstly, I got spoiled before seeing it from my friends that Iron Man dies, and then someone told me about Cap turning into an old man, and then some other things, and it's like, why are you telling me this, you assholes? But they knew I loved it, so that's why they wanted to do it, because they're a bunch of assholes. But the plot basically revolves around undoing Thanos' actions that were in Infinity War. So, you know, what basically happens, he turns on his, you know, he does a snap. Martin's family dies. You know, Scott Lang is trapped in the quantum realm, and they have to deal with it. The remaining Avengers have to deal with the loss. Captain Marvel, I didn't talk about her. I don't like Captain Marvel. I don't know if it's the actress that plays her.
Just to reiterate, I don't hate women, and I don't hate Brie Larson. She's actually a pretty good actress. I just do not like her in this role.
Just the character in general, but she comes off as so cocky. I just cannot stand her. But Iron Man and Nebula are stuck in space, and of course Captain Marvel comes and saves them. They come back to the Avengers facility. They get ready to go find Thanos. They find him. Freaking Thor just goes, chops off his head. You know, he's just chilling, making stew, and then they explode in there and try to get the Infinity Stones. But guess what? The Infinity Stones are gone because Thanos used another snap to destroy them. thought that was brilliant. Or I don't know if it was a snap, but he destroyed the stones, and it nearly killed him, which I thought was really cool. He did the face, it looked like he was burned up. But you know, Thor comes in, chops his head off, and he goes, "What did you do?" And he goes, "I went for the head." I thought that was amazing. It just shows how much that him missing, killing Thanos in Infinity War really messed him up, and I love that. There's a lot of foreshadowing to the characters when it happens to them, because when Thor's sitting in the Avengers facility just chilling there, you can see there's croissants next to him and like a beer also next to him, also like kind of foreshadowing that he's already starting to gain weight. He's like already starting to get depressed and eating, and I thought that was just a great touch. So then we jump 5 years later. I love that time jump. It just goes 5 years later. Everyone's depressed. It's like a post-apocalyptic world. They're all chilling around in, you know, focus groups and looking for more survivors and stuff like that. And then Scott Lang comes back from the quantum realm, thanks to the cat or whatever I said earlier. And he comes back and finds the Avengers and goes, "Hey, I met you guys in Civil War." You know, it's kind of funny about that. He eats a peanut butter sandwich, and then he figures out that you guys can time travel and go back, take the stones, get our and do our own snap and bring all our people back and kill all the bad guys. I thought that was a brilliant idea. Did not see that coming, honestly, because I thought people were telling me, "Oh yeah, the people that died in Infinity War on the Soul Stone." I don't know about that, but I thought that was a genius idea. You know, time travel. Most of this movie is like a Spielberg movie or like a Back to the Future type movie. Lots of references to Back to the Future. I thought that was very clever the way they did those. But anyways, they get all the team back together. You get to see everything that happens to all the characters. You know, Iron Man, Thor's fat. You know, what else? Scott Lee, obviously Scott Lang. We know him. War Machine, he's cool. All of them are all good because they've been, you know, searching. Captain Marvel has a new haircut, even though she doesn't show up till like later on in the movie. But Hulk is, of course, Professor Hulk now. I just love all the different things they did with the characters. I thought that was hilarious and just like kind of goofy, but also like heartfelt, and it's cute. And of course, they try to you know, recruit Tony Stark, which now he has a kid with his wife Pepper Potts. I thought that was a great way to start his life, was, you know, have a kid finally. Unfortunately, they do end it, of course, and he ends, and then, you know, loses everything he loves and loses his life. But of course, it was for the greater good. So I'm glad he did that. He says, "You know what? I'm done. I don't want to risk this now. So goodbye." But in the meantime, he's been trying to figure out time travel as well. So I'm just saying, man, Tony Stark is probably the smartest character in the entire MCU. So he figures out time travel, and he's also making a prototype or like a replica of the Infinity Gauntlet, which of course Thanos used to snap. I thought that was cool how he made the new Infinity Gauntlet to put the stones in when they get them back, and then they all get together. They start testing out some time machine or time travel, blah 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 blah. But then we get to the second act of the movie, and this is the time heist. Now this part of the movie is probably the most fun and energetic of the movie, honestly. You know, they're going to 3 different movies. They went back to the first Avengers in 2012, the Battle of New York. They went to the 2013 Thor Dark World, and they also went to Guardians of the Galaxy 2014. And I love how 3 stones were in New York at the time. And then also they go back to Vormir to get the Soul Stone. But I think Barton and Natasha both went to get the Soul Stone, and of course they didn't know that, you know, you have to risk a soul to get the Soul Stone. They didn't know that, so you know, it's a cute little battle between, you know, Barton and Natasha trying to like, okay, I'm gonna jump, no, I'm gonna jump. But isn't it like, I'm gonna derail this for a second. Isn't it like supposed to be, it can't be suicide, right? It has to be like, you know. And I don't think they love each other, right? Like, I mean, they probably care for each other, but I don't think they love each other. And I don't think it means you can just jump off and, like, you can get the stone. Like, why would that even work? You have to sacrifice something you love to get the stone. You don't just jump off. Like, that's just, I don't know, that part kind of, you know, got me a little bit. That was stupid. And eventually, of course, Natasha jumps off and dies, or lets go of his hand and, you know, dies. And that one was not resolved. Gamora comes back later on, which we'll get to that in a few minutes, but I think definitely Natasha is gone forever, but we'll see. I think she's definitely gone, but we'll see. And of course, they try to get all the stones, but unfortunately, in 2014, there's 2 copies of each other, Nebula and another Nebula, obviously the past Nebula, who's still faithful to her father, Thanos, and of course Gamora, who's also semi-faithful to her father, Thanos. Are, you know, also looking for some stones, or a stone at the time, and apparently there's some kind of Wi-Fi connectivity thing happened to Nebula, and he starts Thanos is right next to the past Nebula, sitting there watching all the memories of stuff, and she can like she's talking to somebody and says like, we're not the only ones looking for the stones. So you see something fishy, and then he eventually finds all the memories and finds out, oh, I did win in the end. No, this is great. So they switch out the fake Nebula for the past Nebula, or they switch out the real Nebula with the fake, or with the past Nebula. The old switcheroo. Thor goes back to get the ether, I think. Yeah, the ether. Says goodbye to his mother before she dies. I thought it was sweet. New York, Bruce Banner gets the time stone from the Ancient One, because she was like, "Oh, I'm not just gonna give it to you," but he told her that what if I told you Doctor Strange, gave it to Tony, or gave it to Thanos, like he willingly gave it to it. So, oh, he must know what he's doing. Speaking of which, that's when they actually explain the whole time travel element of the movie. It's like, if you change something in the past, it doesn't change your future. It creates an alternate pathway that also changes, that becomes a whole new pathway. It's confusing. It's kind of stupid. They kind of break their own rule at some points, but I'm not going to get into that. So that's he explains that. Tony and Scott and Captain America are trying to get the Tesseract, the Tesseract from at the end of Avengers. Past Hulk busts into Tony. He drops everything, and the thing gets flown away. And Loki finds the Tesseract, picks it up, and takes it with him. They never explain that, but I don't know what happens after that. But what they do is they think of something. They go back to 1970 or something like that, 1940 or something. I forgot what it was. 1970, I think. And what does it say? Is it 70 or 40? I don't know. You can tell me in the comments. 70 or 40 to get more Pym particles. Because Professor Pym, from Ant-Man, is working at the same place as where they're going to find more of it, because they need more to time travel. That's what you need to use to time travel through the quantum realm. So they get more of that. Tony talks to his father, which I thought was a very beautiful moment as well. Cap finds Peggy and looks through the blinds. That also spawned the meme, of course, when Jim from The Office is looking through the blinds with that creepy smile. I thought that was great. And then they get back. They get all the stones again. Blah blah blah. They get all the stones, and they put it in the finished gauntlet that Tony created on his computer thing, whatever. And Banner puts on the glove. Does the famous, which, by the way, they really just went all out with snaps. There's 2 or 3 different snaps in this movie, and it kind of loses its intensity. It's one snap and half of the universe is gone. It's that's intense, but if you just keep snapping throughout the entire movie, it just gets stupid. And it's oh, it's just a gimmick now. It's not even a consequence or an intense thing, but whatever. So Hulk does the snap. Barton gets a call from his wife, because obviously it worked. They're all back now. But unfortunately, past Nebula is back. Obviously, she sticks something into the thing to bring back Thanos from the past into here with a ship and everything. Don't ask me how that works, but she does that. He comes crashing through. They burn the whole freaking place down. They blow up the whole Avengers facility, which I thought was a great scene. Just I think it was Scott standing at the window watching, and then you can see a big black shadow coming over the thing. And you just see his face just lose his smile, and all of a sudden the whole freaking thing just explodes, and it's insane. Then we get to the best of the MCU ever. So this is when the movie really picks up. It's the last hour. We have an hour left of action, and it's amazing. So it starts off, of course, a few of the Avengers are stuck down below under a bunch of debris. Other people outside, they find Thanos. He's this monologue. They fight a little bit, and it's great fighting. Cap eventually holds Mjolnir. That's an amazing scene, and Thor's yes, I knew it! He always knew he was worthy, which calls back to a scene in Ultron when they're all trying to, pick up the hammer off the table, and Chris Evans, or Captain America, was a little close to pulling it off. That was a nod to let you know that he was always worthy, but he never did, because you don't want to break up Thor's ego, but he's already fat, so he's not even an ego anymore. Which I also want to bring up, I thought it was hilarious that they made him fat because of the fact that you're so used to seeing him, you know, all the gratuitous shots of him with his shirt off, and it's like, now what you're looking at, ladies. There ain't nothing to see there. I thought that was funny. They're fighting some more, fighting. Then the best team up scene in the entire MCU happens, even better, of when, you know, Thor, Groot, and Rocket come into the Battle of Wakanda. Even better than that. You just hear like, Cap or Rogers, and then you just hear, boom, 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 boom. You know, it's Black Panther music. You know, I'm not too excited about that because I wasn't the biggest fan of Black Panther. You know, T'Challa walks out. It's like, hey, what's up, dude? But then another portal opens and it's freaking Spider-Man and Peter Quill and freaking Drax and Mantis and all the freaking Guardians come out, and then another portal opens and more people come out, and it's just like, oh my god, I am coming, and everyone just comes out, and it's like this epic music that almost made me tear up, dude. Everyone comes out, freaking it gets better and better, and more people, you know, the Pym people come out, and I think even Howard the Duck comes out eventually. I thought that was funny. And then Pepper comes flying out in her own Iron Man suit, and she's like, yeah, like she's like posed, and she's like, she takes off the helmet, I don't know, something like that. I can't do music. I just thought, oh my god. And then like Wong's like, or no, Doctor Strange's like, is that all? And Wong's like, you need more? And it just like, dun 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 dun, Avengers, dun 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 dun, assemble. And then there's friggin' just all these people come together and just like clash and start fighting. So many great scenes. Spider-Man hugs Tony, and it's just like a nice fun. The women come together and fight a couple people. Lots of great fights and just too many things I can even remember. You know, Scott is reunited with Hope, and it's just like an all-out battle. They kick Thanos' ass, and eventually it leads down to Tony and Thanos. Everyone's pretty much defeated. They're all on the ground. They're tired, but Tony's still up and kicking. He's got what's it called? Thanos. He's got all the stones in his thing. He's ready to do his snap, but Tony starts grabbing it, trying to get it off of him, and he does, but you don't know yet. He goes, I am inevitable, which he said earlier on in the movie when he was you know, cooking some stew, and he goes, I am inevitable. It's not working, and he's like, and then you see Tony. He has the stones. He's holding them. His fingers elongate, and he's like, he goes, well, I am Iron Man. Snaps, dude. Literally, my whole entire crowd was like speechless. They didn't even cheer. They just like were speechless. And everybody starts dying. The whole Dark Order dies. All of his like enemies start dying. And then Thanos is the last to go. You start seeing some particles fly off of him, and some more and more, and then just he's gone. Thanos is gone. Dead. Gone. Bye-bye. But of course, no mortal can really hold the power of the Infinity Stones and not die. So Tony's on the ground. He's trying to, you know, trying to stay alive. But Pepper's like, it's okay. You can rest now. We're all done. And he dies. He does die. And I probably would have been a lot more sad if I did not know that he was gonna freaking die. But I did know, so it wasn't as sad as I wanted it to be. And then we cut to a funeral, beautiful funeral for Tony. Everybody is there. Literally, everybody is split up into their own groups for their own movies. The Guardians are in one thing. I think the Guardians are there. I can't quite remember. I think the Guardians are there. The Black Panther people are there. The Winter Soldier people are there. The Iron Man people are there. The kid from Iron Man 3, who's all grown up, is there. I didn't know who the hell that kid was standing in the back. Like, who the frick is this kid? It's the kid from Iron Man 3, who was helping Tony rebuild his suit. And then you got Tony, and you got Nick Fury in the back, watching out, and Captain Marvel standing right next to him. More people are in the back, and then we get to Happy sitting there with his daughter, and she's like, I want a cheeseburger. And then Happy's like, you know what? Your dad loved cheeseburgers. And I thought that was just beautiful. It ends on a pretty good note. Another big thing happened. I thought was over after that, but no, it just keeps going. And then they decide to go back in time to put the Infinity Stones back where they were. Cap wants to go himself. He goes back, and he comes back, but he doesn't come back on the platform. We're like, okay, where is he? Did he die or something? And then the camera pans over to a person sitting on a bench, and it turns out to be Rogers sitting there, old, wrinkly, probably in his old, early 70s, just sitting there like he. And we find out that he went back in time, and after returning the Infinity Stones, he stayed there and stayed with Peggy, and got married and had kids and had a whole life, lived his life the way he wanted it to. And it ends in a shot of Peggy and Rogers dancing, finally having their dance, and they kiss, and it's over. Oh man. I have shit talked this movie a lot. Since I saw it, I've said like, oh, you know, Infinity War's better, which I do believe. The pacing is really whack for this movie. There's a lot of boring scenes, a lot of things that don't make sense in this movie. It felt a little rushed at times, and I feel like it could be longer. It really could be longer. But in the end, we got what we got, and I thought it was a great, grand conclusion to the MCU. Well, not the MCU, but you know, the grand conclusion to the Infinity Saga. What will come next, I can't predict, but we'll see how this goes. I know Spider-Man Into the Coming Home is coming out, or not Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Far From Home is coming out. I think there's going to be a Black Widow movie, Guardians 3, Black Panther, oh my god, Black Panther 2. So, we shall see what the MCU has for us in the future. Okay, that was a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, remember to leave a like and subscribe to see similar content like this. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I make a new video, which is like every other week now. It's, I don't know, my schedule's all out of whack. Comment down below and let me know if you've seen Endgame, and let me know what you thought about certain scenes. This is a spoiler talk, so you can let anything you want down there. The spoiler free, you couldn't, but this one, you can. Go down there and talk all kinds of stuff about Endgame. I want to hear it. Don't forget to follow me on my socials, my Instagram, my Stardust, down below in the description box. Click them for Stardust. Click on it, download the app, look up It's Kyle. If you love movies, love me, download the app and follow me. Anyways, thanks for watching this long video. I hope you guys have a great day, and peace out. Bye, guys.